what have you been up to for the past week or so, or what have you seen in the community?
Great question, because as usual, community's busy. I've got a couple of things I'd like to share today, if you don't mind sharing my screen.
Don't mind, I'm trying to find that button right now.
It's somewhere around there.
I've seen it. There we go. All right.
All right. So first things first, Michael Niehaus has had an autopilot branding script that's been available for quite some time, but there was a major update to version 3 since office hours last week. And I really there's some great updates to the script. Things like being able to remove dev home and new Outlook, some additional configurations and adjustments. Michael added some logic to install new apps from Winget. A lot of different things here that you can see. But something that I thought was awesome, I've seen Michael's autopilot branding script 100 times, but somehow it escaped me how many people are actually contributing to it. Mm-hmm. All of these different folks contributing to the script is just fantastic. I wanted to give a shout out to that. That was one of the most exciting things I thought from these release notes.
Yeah, but it just amazes me how many people are like almost on a daily basis contributing to ConfigMgr, Intune, and everything related to those platforms. It's so nice. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's great stuff. So if you do use the autopilot branding script, though, or even if you don't, I recommend checking it out. See if it's got some features that you'd want to implement in your environment.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Also came across this blog post from Damien on scheduling the removal of unwanted members from an Entra ID group with Azure Automation. So we've shared, it looks like this was released a few weeks ago, but I just happened to come across it this week. So basically, this automation, you can configure what users you want in a group. And based on how you set up the runbook, it's going to automatically remove users that shouldn't be in there based on how often you're running that automation. So like so many of Damien's solutions, we've showcased a number of his blog posts here on Office Hours over the years. Very, very cool solution if you have this use case. So trying to think of a couple of different ways that I might be able to implement this in some environments as well. So great stuff here. Thank you, Damien, for posting this. And the last thing that I had that I am excited to finally post was we released the hydration kit updated for Server 2025 and SQL Server 2022. Very exciting stuff. So I posted a little blog post about this on Deployment Research, but you will find if you've used our hydration kits in the past that we're mostly just posting and updating any documentation completely over on GitHub now, which is a little bit of a change from the previous 2 hydration kits. So I wanted to call that out. One of the reasons that this took me a little while to get this wrapped up was SQL Server 2022 absolutely supported for ConfigMgr. SQL Server 2022 is absolutely creating databases with compatibility level 160. ConfigMgr only supports compatibility level 150. So Johan and I went back and forth a couple of times on how we wanted to deal with that in the hydration kit, reached out to the community, and ultimately followed one of our good friends, Brian Mason's guidance on pre-creating the database. And I think you'll agree, Johan, when Brian says something like that, probably should listen.
Yeah, I just like what I know. Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Absolutely, that's absolutely what we're doing now. It's kind of interesting. We have, in fact, I've found a SQL script that you had written quite a while ago for an older hydration kit to pre-create the database. Worked very well. So if I go in here, you can see I've got a SQL script. Thank you for posting this to the community many years ago, Johan. One of the challenges I was running into was basically when certain resources would be available in the task sequence. So I have a PowerShell script here that basically runs that SQL command. I figured that would be the easiest way to run the SQL script, was simply using some PowerShell. So a couple of different timing issues ended up coming into effect where this PowerShell script was run in the sequence, and then making sure that the old SQL PS module is actually available. So you can see I was doing some additional logging above and beyond what we would normally do in some of these scripts. And then not only that, but ensuring that the SQL Server service was actually running. And if it's not running, fire it up, because I need SQL Server running to pre-create the database. So long-winded way of saying PowerShell script and a SQL script to get that database pre-created. Works well, tested it a few times over the weekend, and happy to finally get this released out there. One thing that we are asking is if you do have issues with this kit or any recommendations for improvements or anything like that, please file those here on the GitHub repository. This for my workflow is a lot more straightforward, something that's a little bit easier for us to track than what we would commonly do and deal with some of those issues in the blog post comments. Please, if this is something that that you were looking forward to using, or if you use our hydration kit, go ahead and give Server 2025 a shot, and let us know here in the issues if there's something I may have missed, because it is absolutely possible. So that was what I had for today.
Fantastic release. Thank you, Andrew. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while also, so I'm so happy to see it being published. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have too many news per se, but I have an update to a blog post I put together a little while ago. So let me go ahead and steal the screen for a second here. So late March, I put together a blog post on how to build reference images with ConfigMgr, because as most of you know, MDT is no longer supported, but it still works beautifully to create images, at least as long as you stick to the 64-bit platform. Forget ARM. You have to use ConfigMan if you want to work with ARM images. But anyhow, the challenge is that, and we touched on this on one of the other office hours here, but ConfigMan runs its steps as system, and sysprep is not supported to run a system. That didn't used to be a problem before until, well, Windows 11. So there we are. Microsoft knows about this. They have a conversation with the Windows team, or rather the ConfigManager team has a discussion with the Windows team, because they run sysprep and ConfigManager run ConfigManager. So hopefully they will come up with some solution. Otherwise, we'll have to come up with some creative workaround and simply run sysprep as administrator for now, and basically do it in a two-step approach. I've been trying around different ways to get it to run reliably in the sequence itself, not as the sequence, but as a different user. If I make progress on that part, I will let you know. But I've been arguing a little bit with that one. So just like an FYI, really. So that's all I have for today.
All right. Good tip to look out for.
Yeah, it was funny, but I've been having threads in the community lately. around images and why there is a need to capture them. And John Markin, of course, like I haven't been building reference images since Windows Vista, basically, or since the WIM files were starting to be included in the ISO. And then Mr. Towels over at WP Ninja, he's like, well, the only images I capture are PNG files. I was like, okay, fair enough. But there is a valid point. For the past 10 years, we've seen a very typical trend in the industry to move towards using thin images. And that is the recommended choice if you have that option. But still to this day, there are organizations out there that they simply do not have a choice. They have to use thicker images to be able to meet their business requirements and then service times and whatever for deployment. So for those folks, these features are critical that they are actually working correctly. So I will keep this one updated as I learn more and find out more myself. But yeah, there we are.